Alrighty, welcome back. It is time to get into our finals. I keep wanting to say series. I'm so used to saying series.
You said it before we went to break.
Not used to this. Best
say it
of
before
ones.
we go after the break.
Okay, it's time to get into our last game of the evening. Game number 5, and this one could be a bit of a doozy. It's going to be T1 going up against Gen.G.
Yes, but not their main rosters.
Nope.
Their sub-rosters
Yep.
that they have brought here to KeSPA Cup. And honestly, neither of them really impress, but we'll see in this game.
Yeah, we will. We will also be taking a quick little look at the little interview videos that we've been running for the squads to get you guys all caught up, not cut up. That would be, don't do that. Caught up and familiar with some of the newer faces on these teams.
안녕하세요. T1의 탑을 맡고 있는 로치 김강희라고 합니다. 좋은 기회가 된 것 같기도 하고 좋은 성적을 보여줄 생각에 살짝 들떠 있긴 합니다. 사실 제가 이 팀에 합류하게 된 계기 중에 어느 정도 많은 지분을 가지게 된 게 뱅기 감독님이어가지고 경기 피드백적으로도 많이 도움이 되고 좋은 말씀 많이 해주셔가지고 되게 좋으신 분인 것 같아요. 저희가 더 잘해줄 수 있게 최고의 인물이라 생각합니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 이제 T1의 2군 서포터를 맡고 있는 김태기 에스퍼라고 합니다. 괜찮다고 생각이 들긴 해요. 뭐 짧은 시간 동안 연습을 계속 하긴 했는데 나름 나쁘지 않다고 생각해요. 어느 1군이랑 해도 뭐 딱히 밀리지 않는다? 이 정도까지는 볼 수 있을 것 같아요. 라인전을 잘한다? 네, 그거 하나는 다른 팀이랑 비슷할 것 같아요. 열심히 해가지고 좋은 성적 내보도록 노력하겠습니다.
Alrighty, well, there's the young talent on the side of T1. Obviously, some very familiar faces in Roach, Mowgli, Asper especially. But, yeah, their first game didn't deliver so much. Was rough tidings for them. Berserker, not the most present player on the KeSPA.
Yeah, and Hoyt is also a sub here on the sub team. And we are not going to see him today, actually.
Nope.
So a couple of times in a row, Asper will play here for T1 support role. And same elsewhere as well, as they don't have any other subs.
And now let's go ahead and look at Gen.G.
젠지 카리스 김홍조라고 합니다. 안녕하세요. 뛸 수 있도록 로스터에 등록된 것만으로도 좀 기분이 좋고 실제로 대회를 뛸 수 있다는 것도 좀 기대도 많이 되고 걱정도 좀 많이 되는 것 같아요.
젠지 2군 탑을 맡고 있는 론리 한규준이라고 합니다. 제가 이 캐스파컵을 뛸 거라고 이제 생각을 안 하고 있었는데 저희 기회를 주신 만큼 이번 대회 때 그래도 좀 잘하고 싶다 이런 느낌인 것 같아요. 그래도 제 전 팀이었던 만큼 샌드박스 서밋형 꼭 이기고 싶습니다. 저희가 다른 팀에 비해서 그래도 2군이어가지고 좀 약할 수도 있다고 생각하시겠는데 이번 대회 때 그래도 꼭 이제 잘해가지고 4강에는 가고 싶다 이 생각으로 이제 임하고 열심히 하겠습니다.
저희 이제 젠지라는 팀 이름에 맞게 플레이로 보여드리겠습니다.
Well, they showed us a little bit earlier, and for Lonely, it's going to be all about bouncing back because in a very rough board game.
He did.
Wasn't great. Probably like to forget about it.
Yeah, it was a unfortunate one. Although it's not like his teammates helped him out too much. I think his entire team needs to shore it up for game number 2 that they are playing on the day.
True.
And try to show us a little bit something better. Maybe, you know, it's first time playing here for a big tournament perhaps, and they just are a little bit nervous. They want to show us something a little bit better this time around. It looks like we're ready to hop into pick ban and see what we'll have at least for the draft.
Yep, it's got to shake it off and get ready to press forward. We saw Fred do it. Maybe one of these teams is going to be able to do just the same. As we go ahead and jump into the draft, T1 on blue, Gen.G on red. See, it's going to be 2 of the big power picks taken away off the bat. Nothing surprising yet as Lucian and Pantheon are removed.
Yeah, Lucian Pantheon off the board. Will we see Gragas gone again? We'll have to wait and see, but Graves certainly will be gone. I'm sure these players were watching the games. And on the Graves did, I'm sure, make a lot of pro gamers shiver in their booties. So don't want to let that one go through again.
No, you did not.
So
So Lucian, Graves, Zoe as well. Going to be taken away from Paris.
Yeah, and Akali, of course, a really big pick right now. We saw it once, and I do not think we'll see it again.
Probably never again.
I think it was also in the game against Gen.G, so definitely trying to get rid of that memory, as Olaf also off the board here.
It was against Gen.G.
Yeah. What will be the priority is the question.
We've seen a lot of teams going for, things like the first pick, Alistar, and there's not as much power available. I think going for something like the Jhin would be bizarre. The Leona makes a bit more sense. So they will go ahead and snatch that one up. So T1 straying away from that Alistar pick.
Yeah. No Alistar just yet. Could just pick up Alistar on the side of Gen.G. No problem there. Maybe go for a third pick Alistar and go for some higher priority picks right now.
Might just be another early draft on the Renekton. We saw this just in our last game. Hanwha Life Esports was picking up the Renekton very early on, just showing confidence in this being a safe-ish pick in the top lane. Hard to bully it, but it's also not a pick that's going to necessarily get ahead and excel. But yeah, speaking of power, Samira is available, but seems like she might have some other thoughts as they go for the long hover on the Misfortune. But okay, there we go. Flip back.
Yeah, Samira locked in here. Can work with the kind of style that Renekton does bring in terms of a team composition. And we might just see Ornn. I mean, Ornn has been looking pretty good into Renekton so far and actually winning some of the lanes. I think that Roach would feel pretty comfortable on a pick like Ornn, even if perhaps it is a little bit boring for the player, as I'm sure they've played many games on that one, but none so far, as Misfortune is going to be the lock-in.
All right, Misfortune, and now looking like Galio. Do we get another one? Or is it just a cheeky little flash? I mean, we did see Miru play the Nivea versus Hanwha Life. Didn't go well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, gonna avoid that one. Go for something a bit more standard in the Galio. I mean, outside, well, no. I was gonna say outside chance that this is gonna be played somewhere else, and I was like, there's a Leona there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna send top Galio.
No.
So, but something that has made it through that we didn't touch on was the Talia. Been seeing this band in multiple series, played a lot yesterday from time to time at least, but has kind of slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, Talia has gone up in priority, and that makes me happy. A Talia main of old, as Camille gonna be locked out here. Maybe they just go ahead and ban Camille Ornn, as there was no top pick just yet for the side of T1. What are we going to be banning here on the side of T1? Maybe they try to lock out some of the supports that are still available. There's still a lot of high-tier ones that you might want to get rid of and try to power up your lane and shut down Samira early. So Alistar seems obvious. What else will they consider? Maybe like a Gragas?
It's actually kind of surprising to see Gragas go this far down the draft, especially with the early pick on the Renekton.
Yeah.
Gragas has been pretty high priority for the majority of the teams yesterday, but kind of fallen to the wayside today. You'll be an attack on the jungle here as Nidalee is banned out.
It's a little bit weird for me. I mean, you're the one with the Renekton on your team. I don't think you're gonna have too much trouble with the Nidalee. Yes, it's pretty good right now, but I don't feel like it would be huge for the side of T1 or anything like that. I think there were more pertinent bans that they could have gone for.
Could have just gone double top lane, got rid of the Ornn that you were talking about before.
Yeah.
It will be the set, so further attacking that potential support pool to go alongside the Samira. And maybe we just get 2 games in a row of support Maokai.
We will.
Yep.
Maokai is back. And it will be thrown down into the bottom side, of course, with the mid lane still available to pick. For the side of Gen.G,
It's a big change up. It's actually a mid Talia and a jungle Maokai.
whoa, jungle Maokai. Now that would be crazy.
Blast from the past.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about it. It's locked in. I think we just move on.
Yeah, I really don't know why that was just let to go for so long here in this draft. But it is what it is. I suppose Lonely, after his last game, is not very scared of the Ornn. Neither am I. What is going to be the last pick here for the jungle for T1? Got rid of the Nidalee, but there's many other picks available.
Okay, and it will be the Hecarim. So we actually saw a ban on Hecarim earlier today, as well as I think maybe yesterday.
Yeah?
Quick glance.
Sounds right.
No.
No? Okay. No, I meant it sounds wrong.
I think the reason I was thinking of that was because Atlas and Wolf were trying to contemplate an all quadrupedal team.
Oh, okay.
And Hecarim's name was mentioned, so I think that's why it was in my brain from yesterday.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll get locked in for realsies this time.
It does, and we're having mid Aatrox too, which is another, it's not super crazy or anything like that. It has been run many times in the past, as we all know. But obviously much more common up in the top side. So it's going to be going up against that Galio. See how it does. Can mess with the Galio's combo, of course, with some of the knockups that the Aatrox does have, and also can be very fast with the World Ender to hop away from any danger. But at the end of the day, I kind of like the comp here from T1. There's not a huge amount of damage on their side, but at the same time, they have a couple of tanky guys that also do nice damage in essentially Galio and Hecarim to add alongside of the Misfortune, which will be the bulk of the damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of great CC. You've got the AoE Fear coming in from the Hecarim. You've got the Call of the Forge God from the top lane. Galio taunting everybody into a bullet time with a Solar Flare. It's just, are they going to be able to get into a position where they have enough items to actually deal some damage to the members of Gen.G? If that MF isn't taking people down, the Samira almost certainly will be. Also a lot of innate power there for the Aatrox. So let's go ahead and kick off our final game of the evening. Game 5 starting right now.
Back onto the Rift one last time for the day. Definitely not the last time for the KeSPA Cup. There's only day 2 of 8, guys. So we have tons of content, tons of League of Legends for everyone, including us, to consume and enjoy.
For me, it's day 1 of 2.
That's true. But you'll be watching.
Oh, yes. Totally.
Yep.
No, I will be.
I didn't even take it sarcastically. I'm like, yeah, you will be. You'll be enjoying it with the rest of us. And Mowgli, for now, looks slow, but he's on Hecarim. We all know what he can do. Even taking Ghost.
Just got to gallop in. So, yeah, nothing too surprising there. You never go flash on Hecarim.
Not really, no.
I don't even know the last time I've seen a flash on Hecarim, at least at the professional level. Ghost has always kind of been the play.
I think we had like a week in the LCK. I even forget what split it was, but Hecarim was like coming back, and there was like one game where he just demolished some team, and everybody was like, oh man, we gotta start playing this. So we saw like, copycats, right, where they come in and they're like, let me try, and to mixed success. But there was like a week there where I came in. I think like one person took Flash, and they were just like, "Okay,
probably fed."
And then I'm gonna try this. Yeah, I don't think it turned out very well actually. At the end of everything, when all was said and done, Ghost on Hecarim seems to be the much better play.
Yeah. Overall, seems like, for the most part, you're not going to see that much divergence in Hecarim's build path. It's still very much going to be Trinity Force for him as his mythic, as well as things like Steric's Gauge, Death Stance in some cases, just those standard tanky items to allow him to get into the fight and then survive while he just creates so much chaos for the rest of his team to capitalize on.
Yeah. I think those items you touched on will be quite good. Maybe he'll consider a Randuin's against this kind of team.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see.
Zoom in and slow them when you fear them.
How about the Dead Man's Plate? Another good one for Hecarim.
Yeah.
Makes that initial burst even better, alongside of, you know, stacking some armor against mostly attack damage on the enemy team.
Going, okay. It's going to be walking up, throwing down a ward, but that's already been cleared. Gen.G has zoomed his way over towards the top side of the map, just going to be on the opposite side here as this Hecarim. Wave push forward, not really going to be able to find much to do on the top side for now, so we'll just go ahead and take the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Talia's great at taking the Scuttle Crab. One of those that has very reliable CC, at least against a very obvious target. If you're using it against an enemy champion, you're probably not going to have much luck unless they're locked down, or you read them like a book, which can be the Talia highlights that you're looking for. You can also find those on YouTube, as I'm sure many Talia mains would throw those up. Karis really just does not want to let this be stopped right in front of his turret. He wants to have it crash in the middle. But as I say that, he stops his back and wants to push even more.
Actually decides to stick around. You're just going to be walking back to lane, sees that the wave is not going to be crashing anytime soon, so he could go ahead and catch these minions. So we'll just be able to hold on to the TP, as he's already at level 4, so should have some decent mobility options coming up here shortly as he gets close to level 6.
We have exactly matched jungle paths from both the junglers, just full clears. You get the one scuttle, and then you just return to what you started your full clear on, which is the Gromp, of course. I do believe that the Hecarim did start red, potentially. Oh no, he started blue with the leash.
Blue.
Yeah.
And then went down to the
Remembering
bottom
that.
side.
Yeah. There's a ward up the top side that's pinged, and Mowgli's like, well, I really wanted to go top side. They're going to see him again as he moves back over the ward. And that's allowing Talia to steal the Raptors.
Yeah. Picks up some little chickens there.
Yep. It's a very obvious case where vision gives you an advantage.
And Mowgli's going to find this out and says, oh, I've been robbed of my chickens.
I hate when that happens. You're ever running your farm and your chickens get robbed? It's a big feels bad for me.
I mean, it's, you know, you get a fox in the hen house.
Whoa. Then you're having real problems.
Yeah. I guess that's not really having them robbed. They are being taken from you.
Yeah.
That's also just kind of nature taking its course, I suppose.
Robbed in a certain sense.
Yeah.
Mowgli says, I've had enough of the stale jungling. Let me go ahead and take this big dragon.
Tails just going to be wandering down as we're spotting each other, but I think to their knowledge, anybody on the side of Gen.G right now might not be aware of this dragon being taken, but that will be the alarm bells going off for them. So Ocean Drake is scooped up. Have Mountain coming up next in about 5 minutes. What are the odds here? What are you gonna bet on? Cloud or Infernal?
Cloud for sure.
All right.
Yep, we need a fourth cloud. The ocean was just a little bit of a enticer, you know, get us interested, but actually it's not a thing. Really nice move here.
Yeah, taunt down. Get pushed back underneath the tower a little bit as Mowgli eats a shot, but they get a good amount of harassment on him, but unable to force a flash or anything of that nature away from the Aatrox, so still will be quite all right. Push up to the top side. Young-J is aware of this. Calls for Lonely to come down into the brush. Oh. Good read.
Still tried to cut him off, but Mira was out of there
Yeah.
in no time at all. Now they have the timer on this blue buff at 7 minutes, so they're just going to go ahead and take this instead. Still a nice little win. You can note that the Ocean Drake was taken, but the Talia getting the extra buff and also a little bit of extra farm is going to be feeling decently for herself.
Yep.
Get a tiny little gold lead there. Just a mini one.
Goes back to base. There's a help ping getting put out onto Gen.G's blue buff. So it seems like they want to invade for this. Already wrap around the back side, clears out the control ward. Does Asper. We'll take that blast cone over the wall, but rejoin in with Berserker as well. Mowgli just waiting patiently. Karst nearby, going for the recall, however. Cancels it. Mowgli comes around the side. Jake forces out the smite. TP is going to be coming through as he tries to escape. Wants to hold on to the flash. The Fear's going to be coming down. Flashes over the wall, and Mowgli's like, I don't have flash to pursue. And will lose out on that kill. But they force that crucial summoner spell away from the enemy jungler.
Yeah, he actually had perfect timing just to read when the Taliyah was going to come back in off the back. So a really good read from Mowgli there. Able to get the flash away from Gen.G. Does not deny the blue, which is a little bit unfortunate. The Gen.G was still able to pick that one up. Mowgli a little bit slow on the smite as it was just getting in range right as he came around the bend. And so at the end of the day, not able to deter the Taliyah from getting those buffs, hitting level 6. And when are we going to see our first real play, our first gank in this game? Gen.G is going to think about starting on the Rift Herald for now.
I'm going to say the 50-minute mark.
50?
Yeah. Why not?
He might be onto something.
It'd just be such a great way to end the night, you think?
Yeah. I mean, you know, a couple of teams that don't have a lot of experience, maybe a little bit scared of fighting, may consider it. But so far, at least, we have had a little bit here in this game, although no kills have been picked up.
I mean, around the end of my time at the LCK in 2018, I was very much getting all of the long games.
Yeah.
It was a major swing from how the meta used to be. It used to be that Atlas, if he was at the studio, Caster Jun would be very disappointed because it meant that it was going to be 6 games played.
Uh-huh.
If I was there, it was going to be double 2 zeros.
That is true. A true story of the caster meta.
It pivoted.
Yeah. I'm curious about the meta of this game. How how is this going to begin and end? Karst is doing a really nice job here in the mid lane in terms of CS. He's kind of just ignored the Galio. He's been getting all of his CS, hasn't really missed any. It's no Chovy, but he's been stacking it up. Nice little combo there from Miruda.
Solid. Chain's not going to do much. Can't quite hit the follow-up swings either. Does have to pull back. Mowgli waiting just on the sidelines. Ghost still available.
Yeah, I mean, if he stepped up again, they would have definitely gone on that one, but a bit smarter from Karst this time around, knows that the time is now to go back and pick up the plated armor caps.
I don't know why I said ooh to that. It was just like the most disinteresting exchange that has happened.
He knocked him up.
Oh, a turret shot.
Yeah. Sometimes the games get to a spot where you're just like, that is worth getting excited over.
Yeah. You forget what actual action looks like. And
yeah. You mentioned 2018. I mean, that era of 2017, 2018, there was a lot of Azir, Corki. You got Orianna in the mix. Yeah.
Coming with
Galio.
As you used to say, Corky's big package.
Yeah. That was the most exciting part of every game for me.
Yep.
The turret gets a bunch of plates taken away, so
I think it might
good
go
play.
down. Huh? We're watching the kitty.
Whoa.
Nope. Okay, does not fall.
Hey,
Uber's wall thrown out. Not really sure what I was doing. They just simply run around it. Drake will get smoked by Gen.G. Rival comes in from the Galio, goes in, gets a taunt on 2. Lonely arriving a little bit on the backside of the fight. Dashes forward with the slice of dice, does manage to find 1. That's going to be Kale picking up a kill as well as Mowgli does fall. It takes a while to finish off the Maokai, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a 2-for-2 exchange with the Dragon coming through for the side of Gen.G.
It's clear that T1 know how their team comp works. Somebody's going to dive a backline. Hecarim or Leona will, and then Galio will follow up, and you create a massive front line with tons of CC, follow up from the Ornhorn, and you just have so much room for the end. So that's essentially what happened. TP came in, Leona goes in, we get a full bullet time channeled, but the Maokai ultimate actually keeps Berserker out of the fight there for a little bit, and he actually gets jumped on really quickly, so a little bit of disrespect shown to, you know, the amount of damage that the Aatrox and the Renekton can do. You can do your damage, but then you gotta get out, and Berserker wasn't able to do that second part.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a pretty nice fight there for the side of Gen.G.
Well, on the backside of that, we do have some mythics coming through. Hecarim picks up the 24th. I actually think he had that earlier, but the shield bow now here for Envy. So a bit more protection for the Samira in these little skirmishes if they continue forward. But guess what, Valdez?
What's that?
It is an Infernal Soul.
Wow.
We finally got one.
We got one. We got one today. So 3 clouds, 1 ocean, and an Infernal Soul.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and you have to deny that from Gen.G. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
give them even 1 or 2,
Infernal Soul on a Samira ulting in your face?
and a Renekton, and an Aatrox, and a Talia, even the Maokai
Yeah, oh,
builds
yeah.
damage, you know?
The saplings. Gonna hurt.
You got to be careful. This is going to be a game that T1 have to fight essentially every Drake fight over. And so it's so unfortunate that they lost this one over the Mountain, because the Mountain, while it's not going to provide tons of value, the fight is really what got Gen.G to get this little lead in this game.
Yep.
And to have the advantage in the future fights. So it's going to be a bit rough for them. They do have a very, you know, kind of obvious play style, which is always, I feel like, good for inexperienced teams, right? It's like, okay, well, how do we navigate this fight? I'm not sure. Well, it's really obvious when you have 2 people that jump into the back and Galio ults and Ornn ults, and you just create space for an MF. So hopefully they can kind of just, you know, do that a little bit better than the way they did it the last time.
Sure.
Maybe try to, you know, set up a pick, as they do have an immense amount of CC in their lineup as well.
Well, top lane's going about the same as it was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Not much has changed.
Just a little bit of damage from the Ornn onto the Renekton, and he backs away.
Now they are going to fight over this Rift Herald.
Yeah, Kara's down to the bottom lane, does have that TP available, is going to be using it, coming in, trying to cut off the members of Team 1. Wraps around the wall, Asper goes in, deep soul flare comes out, he'll go gold to try to stay alive. It's going to be Kale, first one to get popped. Asper, one hit from dead, will get finished off by the Renekton, but have they overstepped? Here comes Envy, ult goes flying. It results in a double kill, a triple on the back end of the final blows coming through for Lonely. What a turnaround game for him thus far. 6-3, Gen.G quite firmly in the lead.
Yep, they, you know, T1 was like, we really need to get the Shirley here. We absolutely desperately need it. So they start the fight, and they get teleported on. They panic a little bit. They're like, oh boy, what do we do now? You see, they see the teleport, and they're like, oh boy. Okay, teleport comes in from the Galio. He's not close enough to Hero's entrance. So Asper is caught out in the back there, and it's looking okay because Kale dies, but he's super squishy. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Take a look at how low Lonely's health bar was and how high it gets here by the end. This is the Gore Drinker on the Renekton, and you can see that, okay, you've got the Oblivion Orb on the Galio, but you're going to need a lot to handle double Gore Drinker, to handle all of this regen that we have on the side of Kars and Lonely specifically. And again, they didn't need to force fights over the Rift Herald. They needed to get the Infernal Drakes away from Gen.G, but now they've got a Rift Herald coming down the mid lane. Nobody's in position to deny an Infernal Drake.
Yep.
It's just looking better and better at every step for Gen.G.
I mean, Roach is in the top lane without a TP. Mowgli's up here without a ghost.
Yeah.
Even if he had a ghost, he wouldn't arrive in time. So they just have to concede this Infernal over because of the fight at the Rift Herald. And this is a very brutal and precarious spot to be in now for T1. Gen.G very much in the driver's seat. Lonely 4-0-0 on this Renekton. That's going to be pretty damn scary. And you get him and Karis both stacked on top of each other, weaving in all that cleave damage they can do, plus 2 Gore Drinkers.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck killing.
Yeah. The damage that comes out of the Infernal Drake directly influences the amount that your lifesteal inflows. So it's just adding to the survivability and the annoyance that this comp brings into the Rift. And it will be difficult for them to stop because, again, looking at it now with Gen.G in the lead, I just don't know if the composition from T1 has enough damage, really, because you do have the MF. She throws her ult out there, and I'm sure she'll eventually build anti-healing so that they can try to burst down one of either Renekton or the Aatrox, but the follow-up isn't really huge. You know, there's a lot of threats to the MF. She can't just sustain her damage and, you know, totally lock out or burst someone down, and if you don't have her, you're not really going to have too much after that to burst through the lifesteal that is on the side of Gen.G right now. So that's really the main issue that I'm worried about here for T1's composition right now.
Yeah, it does go for the Clips pick up here. Goes Berserker, but I mean, that last fight was a prime example of just how much you can zone off an MF. You can see him just desperately trying to find a way in, but there's an Aatrox there, then there's a Weaver's Wall to cut him off. He just eventually said, I guess I'll just use bullet time.
Yeah.
Which got canceled early because Aatrox just came swinging in and ended up taking him down. So, yeah, even if you try to get that prime bullet time setup, you've got the Maokai who's got a point-and-click route to, you know, in a mini-stun to go ahead and interrupt you during that. You've got the Renekton who can just slice and dice his way into the back line, hit you with a W, and likely take you down. So, I have to, I think, agree with you that I don't think that there's necessarily enough damage built into the comp here for them to try and turn this one around. I think it's very much going to have to be at, you know, the cause of Gen.G, you know, making multiple mistakes and misplays to allow for T1 to get back into this.
Yeah. So far, they've been pretty clean, though. No real blunders in this one.
Yep.
It's just been steady sailing. Smooth. And they've been able to pick their items up on time. You get that Zhonya's, which is perfect against this composition for the Talia. And pretty core at this point in time.
Yep.
Sterik's finished here for Lonely. So he's going to be even more annoying to take down. Gives him even more EHP. And yeah, he's just like every single fight, if you just watch his health bar, it's like a roller coaster. With those two items, like the Core Drinker and the Sterik's, it's like, okay, well,
yeah.
First you lost half your health, and now you're at full, but then you hit 25%, and now you're at 75%. How did that happen?
Tanking in an MMO. It's that really spiky damage coming through, and you're just hoping that the healers are on point.
Same thing for good old Renekton.
Yeah. And you know, to be fair, I wasn't necessarily certain how this was going to go for Lonely after his first game. Didn't do well on the Ornn at all. It was a very early draft on the Renekton here for Gen.G, but he's been performing. It's been looking really good. It feels like he's got more gold in a bounty than he was able to earn in his first game as Ornn.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you know, maybe he just had a rough game on Ornn and he's like, okay, get me on comfort.
Yeah.
And Renekton feels pretty good in the meta right now.
Give me a bruiser.
Yeah, just give me something I'm good at. Obviously, he's pretty good on this Renekton, so they get him onto something he can feel good on. This game has kind of boiled down to let's wait for these Infernal Drakes and T1 has to stop us. And Gen.G have done a good job of that. Nobody's getting caught. Everybody's playing a pretty clean game from here on out. They've been pressuring the lanes prior to this Drake coming up. And so they can kind of get in here. We do have the TP coming in now from Roach. Let's see if T1 can actually force a fight on their terms here around the Dragon.
Clearing out the vision. Dragon just now spawning. Don't have too much vision behind the pit. They should know that Mowgli is going to have that ultimate available. Weaver's Wall comes in. Roach is going to be breaking that one down with a charge. Mowgli wraps around the backhand side of the fight. He's going to dive into the pit. Can he get the steal? No, he's going to be absolutely deleted. Now the spike comes down. Young finds the kill. Weaver does manage to find one, but it's only going to be on a Kale. Now the fight erupts as we find a double kill going forward onto Gen.G. Only falling low. Will pick up Asper, the flash forward, looking for Berserker. He tries to trade it back onto Envy. He is unable to do so. Colonel Drake, number 2, picked up for Gen.G. Now they have their eyes set on the Baron.
Yep, so this time the taxi for the Galio was the Hecarim, and you see how well that goes. There's just an insane amount of damage on the side here of Gen.G, and even though the bullet time got insane value, it's so hard to kill all of them. There was a massive shields from the Sterix Gage on Lonely. He was able to lifesteal so much in the fight. Aatrox doesn't even get close. I mean, Karus was at full health the entire time, it felt like.
Yep.
Even with the bullet time hitting him for its full duration. And so that's what I'm talking about. You know, there's no damage to burst through everything at this point in time. Mowgli, he didn't do anything in the last fight except get the Galio in, but at least he has his blue buff.
Minor victories.
Yeah.
He
did it.
Adding them up when you can. Yeah, this is really dire, and I don't know realistically how you try to engineer a comeback from this point here if you're T1. I mean, I guess the best thing that you could do is try to defend what objectives you have. You know, obviously down 3 towers, still have the inner turrets standing for themselves, but it's almost 10,000 gold down. It's 9K at the moment. 4 to 10. You only have an Ocean Drake. And you're getting pushed in by 3 waves of Baron empowered minions.
Yeah. They're doing a good job of just 1-3-1 and trying to push forward. Karus isn't going to have too much luck against the Ornn, but some of the other lanes should be able to. I say should because you got to be careful still. Like 5v5s, obviously it's going pretty well for Gen.G, but you could have just a Galio enter a fight from the top lane and make it 4v3 and maybe win a fight that way if you are T1.
Well, Bada taking so much damage. They're able to push in, take down that tower. Now they're going to be looking for a play. Going forward to the stun in on Kale. Galio does arrive. They should be able to kill off the Maokai. Finish him, but Karus down to the bottom lane. Lonely as well, taking the inner tower. Weaver's Wall comes through, making sure they cannot get to the Aatrox. He will not finish off the tower, but takes it damn low.
Yeah, he's got to wait for those minions to come in, but it's just a bit of desperation, right? They're just trying to get one pick. They're just trying to get some kills in this game where they haven't had much luck so far. And that's one way to try to stem a Baron push, but because it was a 1-3-1 and it was going pretty well for Gen.G, they were able to get a lot of value, even though they did lose the one member.
I like that he tried to throw down the Infernal Chains and drag the Ornn away from the tower so the minions could actually finish it.
Yeah.
It was close. This was a good pickoff on the Kale. I mean, it's something, but a lot does get committed forward. Galio ult now going to be gone for a period of time, and there's only a minute and a half remaining on this Dragon spawn.
Yeah, Dragon's coming up here, and Infernal Soul it's basically the death note here for T1. They're going to have their names written in it. They cannot stop this from going down. It already kind of feels that way, but, you know, who knows? Maybe they take a fight here, slowly turn it around. It's not looking good, I'm not going to lie to you, but this is where they have to make their last stand, essentially. It's their Alamo. Let's see how they do it. They should have a couple of teleports available for when that does begin, so you can try to stem the pushes, stem the tide there that is happening in the top lanes before you do try to set up this fight.
Have to be careful. 25 seconds on this Dragon. He's going to be moving forward there into the bottom side of the map. Karus already makes his way into the pit.
You can see he's trying to stop those kitties from doing damage. Roach is going to show him how it's done. Pull them out. There's another one.
Constantly replacing.
All right. Oh, he gets hit by it.
Yeah, and it does a decent amount of damage there.
It does.
Also will, you know, help mark Asper so that he'll take even more damage. They do have the Imperial Band-Aid rolling on that Maokai. Dragon King falling lower, comes in over the wall, knocking into the final attacks. Envy who confirms the kill. Mowgli could not get it. Goes golden as he comes out. Gets absolutely obliterated. Kel will find one, and now it is just Roach running as fast as his little legs can take him. Seems like they are interested a bit in the chase, but mostly they'll zone him out of the base. Wave already pushed up. Turret nearly destroyed. This should be the end of the game. Gen.G interrupts him. We'll just continue to pursue forward while the inhibitor gets broken down. Gen.G bouncing back after their previous loss, looking way stronger here versus T1. 14-5, likely a 15-5 at the end. The final kill will come through. The Nexus will fall. Gen.G, they close out their first day of the KeSPA Cup 1-1.
There you go. Pretty clean win from Gen.G. Really no issues for them. Able to easily roll over T1 in that game. And I'm excited to get into the highlights and show you how impossible, like literally impossible by the end of the game, it was for T1 to kill that Renekton through everything that he did have. It was just, like he jumped in 1v4 and he won.
Yep.
He won the fight as his teammates were eventually able to get in there right after him. But
got ahead, got a Gore Drinker, and just so much healing available for the Renekton. And
yeah,
I mean, just a steadily spiraling out of control game there for T1. Just couldn't get themselves back in. Like you said, the comp lacking a lot of necessary damage that they needed if they wanted to swing that back on its head. Just can't do it.
Yeah.
MF only goes so far.
They had some pretty heavy engage, but once they got behind the Hecarim, who was building only damage, he would try to jump in there, and they just had so much insane damage on the enemy side.
Vanished.
Even before the Infernal Drakes came out. Like, they could have blown anyone up, right?
Yeah.
This is part of the reason why picks like Renekton and Talia are common nowadays, I feel, because the bruisers for stuff like Renekton, they have so much lifesteal, they can survive for such a long time. If you just go Gore Drinker, Stark's Gauge, it's impossible to take them down. Talia has always brought an insane amount of burst damage and is doing even better on this new patch. And just really insane amount of damage, not even to mention the amount of teamfight damage that Aatrox and Samira bring in. So 4, including a Maokai, who was also building damage.
Yeah, I mean, just root everybody. You've got the Imperial Mandate to land a slow, a root, snare on any of them. They're going to get marked. You burst the mark instantly because there's so much AoE damage going out. It just, the HP bars just absolutely plummet from T1. And, really rough game here for Mowgli. It was Lonely's, fault in not his fault necessarily, but he's the one who had the really rough time in Gen.G's first game. This time around, it's going to be Mowgli, who just can't quite find his footing with the Hecarim. Pushed against the wall, didn't really know where else to go as far as the jungle pool was concerned, and it was good from Gen.G in the draft to try to force him onto something a little bit more uncomfortable, something that he really needed to get ahead on early. Otherwise, it was just going to fall flat.
Yeah, these hard engage comps, I don't know how they'll do in a more even game. I'd be curious to see this game played out between players of very even skill levels. I feel like right now Gen.G's sub-team look a little bit stronger than T1's. I think that they're still, again, they've only been practicing together for a month, right? So it's still a very new situation right here. A lot of things can change. I don't want any fans to be disappointed or anything like that. It's still very early on, guys. Just want to highlight that point. Just like it was last year. There were entirely different results coming out of the KeSPA Cup last year that actually happened come spring and especially summer.
I mean, look how Damwon performed last year in the KeSPA Cup. They had just had Ghost join the roster, Zephyr go in as a coach. So there's a lot of changes.
They only got good in summer.
Yeah.
Like, even spring was like, okay, I mean, they were good, but I'm talking about this good.
Top 3 finish in spring?
I think it was 4th.
Maybe 4th?
4th or 5th. 4th. Well, I think it was 4th.
They didn't win it, is the point. We will finally get ready to look at those highlights that you were talking about. And we can just get a nice little glimpse back on how this game went. Because like you said, couldn't kill a Renekton.
Yeah, this early on, they didn't have as much damage as they did later. But still, the way that they could skirmish was pretty insane. This this fight was very broken up, and that will always help out the team that's got more bruisers, less hard engage, stuff like that. This one was a little bit of a messy fight, and be easily able to block the Horn. Another reason why Samira is just insane. And just takes that out. Karis is 1v1ing your AD carry with zero, I say zero, protection. As, you know, even in that fight, Lonely got super low, does not die. Hecarim comes in, by this time, they already had too much damage. It was already kind of over.
Yep.
And you can see, like, they're just running through bullet times. Like, Lonely's just getting into the back line. Aatrox never even close to dying. I think the lowest he got was like 50% health. Eventually got to 100% by the end of it here with the World Ender. And yes, they had one pick. They got the one here. They took out the AP Maokai.
Hooray!
And take a look at this fight. You see the in the back line. You see this. They're all trying to get onto the Renekton. They're all doing damage to the Renekton. They can't kill him. It's just never going to happen.
There's a shield, and he hits Q again. He heals up. It's just...
Of course, by that time, it was already very, you know, very far gone by that point. It was already over 10,000 gold. So.
Well, you see, you know, it's a lot of damage being dealt by the Misfortune. It's just not enough to kill the damn Renekton.
Yeah.
He comes in second most damage on Gen.G, only beaten by the AP Maokai, who continues to excel with these saplings coming through. But, yeah, they just didn't know how to deal with it.
Those damage numbers almost don't even look right to me. Like, I feel like they should all be higher.
They eyeballed it. They just estimated, and they just dragged the graphs across.
Imagine you could do that.
Again, approximately this much. But here you go. The results on the day. KT Rolster, probably surprising most, is the team to walk away 2-0 today. Hanwha Life Esports did suffer a loss at the hands of the Bros. So they both go 1-1, as does Gen.G.
It's a very wacky day. For sure. I feel like, you know, we saw two different rosters essentially out of KT besides Noah, who did stay in. Hanwha Life looked impeccable in their first game, and then they just got destroyed by going a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And Fred Brion was a nice surprise in that game as well.
It was it was really
Very
good
stable.
turnaround from them. And then T1, you know, just unable to put the wins on the board here today. So a 0-2 start for them.
Yeah. And Group B, I feel like, is not anything like Group A.
No, it's not.
And,
but hey,
yeah,
the action continues tomorrow, which I believe you're going to be bringing the commentary alongside Wolf, where we will have Down1 Gaming going up against LSB to start things off. See how Live Sandbox is going to perform against the absolute best of the best. Should be getting their beauty sleep and their rest for that one, because they're absolutely going to need their energy for it.
Yeah. Just taking a look at some of these matchups.
Down1 versus Afrika might be a fun one.
Yeah.
Afrika versus Rongshim as well.
I think Afrika has a little bit more to show than what we saw yesterday. So I'll be curious to see if they will have any better luck against Down1.
Stranger things.
Who knows?
You know, we saw Chovy Inton Yone today, so you never know what could happen here at the KeSPA Cup. I will just give you guys a secret if you're the teams in Group A. Don't give Canyon Graves.
I don't know if that should be a secret.
Just don't do it. It happened twice yesterday. They went 2-0. He absolutely dumpstered people. He got a pentakill. Just don't give him Graves.
They're like, no, we're too scared of Gragas, so we're going to ban Gragas.
Yeah.
You can't let Showmaker get Lucian. No, I think first priority here is banning away Canyon in whatever way you can. You know,
let Pantheon through. Screw it. Just don't let him get Graves.
Yeah, you got to take away power from that guy, because he seems to be the one guy that is just unbelievably strong. I mean, not the one guy. I mean, he just seems incredibly strong individually.
I mean, he's an easily argued contender for best player in the world at the moment. So
for sure,
when you've got somebody of that caliber, you do whatever you can to dismantle them, to disarm them. I saw it with Faker, you know, when he started his career and he started making a name for himself. Canyon is in that position right now. do anything that you can to try and limit his ability. That's going to do
Absolutely.
it for myself and Valdez, though, today. He'll be back tomorrow with Wolf for some more KeSPA Cup action. Same place, same time, so make sure you guys tune in. They're not done talking, so I'm just going to dance until we go out.
Oh, okay. Well, see ya.